Boom. All right.
All right, good. What else? Should we walk through here?
Sure.
Okay. Look at the butterflies. Look at the amazing colors. I remember you singing, because I've always been such a big, they call me nature boy growing up, right? So don't you have like, how many types of turtles and frogs? And you got a lot, right?
There's 7 different kinds of frogs that I've seen. I just watched the turtle planting more eggs.
Yeah.
Giving birth to a whole nother,
So
cool.
Yeah.
Army of turtles.
And you've got birds here that are supposed to only be in Russia, which you've seen.
Yeah, we
here?
found rare birds, one from Asia, different things moving in. And I'm realizing that if you create the habitat for life, it's not just for the plants or for animals, that how a bird knows how to fly south all the way up through to South America and to North America, that you've now created that destination spot, whether it knows it or not.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to create habitats and teach people how to create these habitats for human inhabitants. So like going back to the Shire, and maybe someone from Russia is like, suddenly destiny brings them here and they're like, I think I want to do this. I think I could help out. Everyone has their own strengths or benefits. And I think we see that happening around the world.
That's just so epic. That's exactly right. My friends, this is something you could do. You don't, it literally just means taking the first step, right? Starting out, if you got a suburban home, the first square foot out of your back door is where you can start. You don't have to have 30 acres. You can have 1/10 of an acre. You can have 100 square feet on the ground, and you can create a guild that becomes habitat and food and becomes a major benefit to your family, to your community, and to the world. And when we scale this idea, mass adoption of this simple logic is what's going to change the world, right? I mean, let's just take one fruit tree, like one apple tree. One apple tree, if you buy an apple tree at a nursery, you might pay $80 for a sapling, you know, a little one like this big, it's like that big around. Within a year, with proper nutrition, that apple tree has quadrupled in mass. Right now, it might be 6 or 7 feet tall, and it might be that thick. Well, the cost of that tree at a nursery is what is that? It's doubled at minimum. It's probably more than doubled. So now you just got 100% ROI on your money, right? So if you look at it from every terms that we can think about it, this is the next logical step for humanity.
And planting a seed.
And
the energy you put in, you get so much more than 100% out.
Infinite.
Thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you gauge it? And this is what we're teaching people. And it's almost how to be a human being again. And you're learning with the basic elements that was ancient, and now we're reinventing this so that we can be this new cultural change and impulse. And suddenly you're living a life with fresh eyes and fresh intake. And it's healing. It's healing landscapes, it's healing people, it's healing a culture. And it's all before us.
Yes. This is the answer to all of the world's biggest problems. Deforestation. This is reforestation, mass extinction. This is actually creating habitat for new life to emerge. Cancer. People who live in this environment and interact with this environment will not have cancer to the degree. In fact, it'll probably be in the single percentiles, if at all, if people live in this environment. Heart disease, diabetes, hunger, tyranny. This solves all of it. Yeah.
Ancient.
I just can't believe how many bees, these big bees, are all over this here. Like,
And comfrey's another good one. It's a nectary.
So big.
It's probably the powerhouse of the ground covers. Like Angelica's beautiful, it has the nectary. This is a dynamic accumulator. And it's a balking 13 or 14, so it doesn't spread by seed, but it'll dive down with the roots, it'll pump up the nutrients, and when it releases its leaves, you can cut them 2 or 3 times a year. So instead of getting hay bales, you can have a bunch of these, and it leaves a neutral effect on the soil instead of acidifying it. So just knowing these simple things and bringing in these simple plants is what we want to teach people, so that they can accelerate their knowledge, and they don't have to know everything. They can plant it, and then nature becomes the teacher. That's what you're doing. You come out with your tea, your yoga mat, or your coffee, or just on the morning walk, or with your grandson or friends or loved ones, and this thing starts to grow. So
Yeah.
create it so you have destination
Yep.
spots for you, your family, your life, and then you breathe into that.
And a lot of folks out there think that growing food is a time liability. That's the exact opposite of the truth. Growing food in this type of way is a time asset. You're going to get more life and more time by doing this than less life and less time.
It actually seems to slow down time.
Yes.
So you have more precious moments with
Yeah.
loved ones, friends, or yourself and so on. I've purposely created these destination spots as moments for me just to enjoy with friends, family, myself, or just see nature. And it's reframing your life. So what I think is you think outside the box, you can live outside the box.
Yeah. Fuck the box, right? Throw away the box, man. Oh my God. Is there more grapevines?
We're great.
More grapes just vining all over. Look at that.
If we wanted, we could throw soil on top of these and they would grow more roots, because everywhere where a leaf grows up in the air, if it's down in the ground, it'll start to create a whole new plant. So I could throw 7 of these down, and that's serpentine layering. And suddenly you got 7 more plants. So you can create a nursery quick.
Right, right. And is it true that if I literally just took a shovel, dug a hole, and just stuck this in there,
Yep.
now we have a new grapevine?
Yep. Or put it right on top.
Or just put it right on top?
And sometimes even a
And then-
rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's got to be a woody plant. See, this is kind of a little green still, but this could make it. Anything like roses.
Yeah.
Even those honeyberries we saw.
Yeah.
Things that have the woody stalk into it. Maybe the hops wouldn't. Maybe
Yeah.
it would.
And that's the fun part, is practicing with this stuff. Try it, right? And that it becomes such a joyful experiment of life. And the experiment is how to create more life. That's a fun experiment.
Yeah, I'm letting things just plant themselves out because the currants, the Russian currants are having 50 babies. Champagne currants are having 30 babies. I'm like, go for it. They're running down the terraces, and when the fruit gets bigger and they open up, more branches come up, and those lower branches get planted. And then they just pop up, and I'm trading friends and neighbors for nut trees and other grapevines, and it's the overflow. It's, you know.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right, through here?
So this way was clay. And we brought in the Stellaria's grapes like baby's breath.
Oh, look at that.
Crazy.
More comfrey?
More comfrey. This comfrey is what has changed this pure clay bed
Wow.
into soil. And so now we can grow things like, we saved this pear tree from getting crushed. And we put in peach trees this year, and now we're able to start going from there.
Can't believe
That
how big
is the
bees
biggest
are.
bumblebee I've ever seen.
I know, they're huge.
I've never, that's just
They're,
huge.
they're all over these
Wow.
countries.
Now, I just planted hundreds of comfrey at Gauss Landing all around next to our fruit trees in our food forest. And they're tiny, right? They start out. Now, are they going to get, I know it's hard to tell because they're different types, right? Do you think they'll get big like this?
It could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm
yeah,
so
depending. I
excited to
wouldn't
see.
doubt it. Yep. And they're just a perfect mulch.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
And
Oh
it's
my
really healing for your skin.
Yeah. Now we got the comfrey and we got the legumes, right? All kind of
Sweet.
inner. So do you have a lot of leguminous stuff here too for nitrogen fixing and everything?
Some of these will be. They're maybe a little more
They're
passive.
like a perennial peanut?
But the big one for us is the clover, especially the white clover. The white clover is probably the powerhouse of legumes.
Mm-hmm. Wow. The white clover, huh? Okay.
The white clover. The white Dutch is all right, but the just your basic white clover is the workhorse.
Wow, so you put it in this whole berm here, this, right?
Right. And you can kind of see the cattails, so you're reading the plants. It's like, oh, water pops up here.
Yep.
This will be a turtle and frog sanctuary, and we'll start to work our way out until we get to the floodplain and cross over.
Yeah.
So this will be an upper waterway that'll cascade into the next waterway that'll cascade into the bigger waterway that takes you across and out to the trout stream.
Wow.
And these are kind of the classes that we want to present to people of like, here's how you do it. You see it before. It's half hands-on, half classroom,
Yeah.
and people learn to do it.
Yeah.
And the experience of people coming together like that
Yeah.
is like, it's like music festival.
Yeah.
And people are bringing instruments, but at the same time, there's this whole rich exchange of people reconnecting with nature, and it is a blast.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, so every night we would go out into the moonlight when we learned from Sepp, and we would be playing music and having a fire and talking about what we learned, and then walking around the water, the new water feature and the plants and everything. And I'm still in contact with a lot of those people.
And that is one of the best ways to learn when you're enjoying it, you're in it, because there's a feeling here that you have of connection, of joy, of peacefulness, of awe. Right? So, and you can learn better when you're in that feeling. You know, when our minds are stressed, and this is science, right? You can't. Well, this is science too, but this is where everybody recognizes, even in the messed up medical field, that stress and fear inhibit creativity and growth. Right? They actually are dis-eases that kill. Right? So this is what relieves the dis-ease and turns into joy and ease. You know, it's just so simple.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's so complex, and yet it's so simple at the same time, because we don't have to do it. We just help design it.
The solution's simple.
Yes, yes.
And we're using the things like, I've dug my own ponds, my own terraces, but using things like an excavator or a skid steer that you would think would normally be the destructive thing, suddenly becomes, like we were talking before, a forward escape for the culture.
Yeah.
Like you can do this in days, and suddenly you have a food system and a beauty, and like just habitat and life coming out of something that was a joy to build and a joy to live in.
Yeah, that's just amazing. Wow, awesome. What is that big one there?
Crabapple.
Crabapple. Oh my God.
Crabapple and diamond willow together, and about a dozen other things.
Wow. I just learned that willow is one of the first medicines, right? Aspirin comes from the dried up willow. Is it the bark? I think it's the bark. You shave it and you dry it. Now, tell us about what you do here. You actually create and sell medicines that are from the food you grow here, right?
Yeah, my wife creates like 50 different medicines, and a lot of them are healing beauty products.
Yeah.
But then a lot of them are tinctures.
Yeah.
And so that apothecary, that living apothecary here, just keeps producing.
Yeah.
She distills her own organic alcohol, and she also wild harvests with different medicinal mushrooms out into the forest out there. And now I'm installing and about to start teaching this next year a lot of these secrets of nature and things I learned from Sepp, and just the epiphanies I've had here that is built on top of that. And I'm looking at it as this cultural healing initiative. That,
This is it.
that I'd love to keep
Man,
cooperating
thank
with
you.
these awesome people like this, and change the world.
This is how we
Change
do
people's lives and their health and their
Got it, buddy.
living beautiful moments.
So what is the website where people can find your wife's stuff and your stuff?
So natureismylover.com, keystoneintelligence.org,
Awesome.
and it's gonna be unbelievable.
And I've had a bunch of the products that your wife makes, the tinctures. And I take every day, I've got several different kinds, and every day I take some of those. And you know, I've never felt better in my life. I'm using some mushroom products and then several different tinctures. And I have been just busy this last 14 months. Since we're on the high wire, it's just been nonstop, and I have never felt better in my life. So,
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. I call her tincture bells.
Tincture bells, that's so great.
But it's that slow release,
Yeah.
slow acting medicine, that adaptogens, that just suddenly it's not like I take it and I'm better. Sometimes it is, but a lot of these are like you incorporate into your life or how we're doing eating them, and it changes you kind of from the inside out.
Literally.
Yeah, flavors, foods, experiences you've never had.
If you want to find the secrets to the universe, feel in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And when what you do helps raise the energy, what we do helps raise the energy. So what we're asking you to do is raise your own energy, because it's good for you. And then what that'll do is that'll translate to your friends and your family and your community. So it all starts in your heart and mind. Start taking action, my friends. So thank you very much for joining us, and let's go plant some seeds.